What is going on, guys? This is Beanie and welcome back to another video. Guys, the MLB hot stove is on fire right now. As soon as I put out my video for the Braves signing Cole Hamels, the Phillies counterattack with signing Zack Wheeler to a 5-year, $118 million contract. That's a lot of money. That is an average annual value of over $23 million, so the Phillies better be getting an ace if that's what they're planning on paying this guy. And today we're going to talk about what I think about this signing. Is it good for the Phillies? Is it good for Zack Wheeler? What are the long-term implications of this deal? Well, first off, let's talk about just how productive Zack Wheeler has been over the past couple of years. First off the jump, he's been fantastic. He's been kind of sneaky good. Like, everybody is kind of aware of him, but I don't think people realize just how good he has been over the past 2 years. Over the past 2 years, he's been worth 8.9 F4, which I think in 2018 he was worth 4.2, and in 2019 last year he was worth 4.7. So that is, on a lot of teams, that is the best pitcher on that team. But Zack Wheeler does come with a lot of concerns. He has a very extensive injury history. He's been hurt a lot, and for a long time with the Mets, he was just never able to really unlock that potential, and he never really did until 2018, where he's really kind of turned it on and been great. But even though he's been really great over the past couple of years, Steamer really isn't as high on him as I thought they would have been. Steamer has him projected for only 3 WAR next year with a 4.37 xFIP and an ERA of 4.26. So if that's the case, if that's what Zack Wheeler is going to be moving forward, then this is only an okay signing. It's not a home run signing like I think a lot of Phillies fans are wanting. Ultimately, where I come down on this is I think that this is an extremely high-risk signing with an extremely high reward. I don't think Zack Wheeler is going to be just a 3-win pitcher next year. I think he's going to either take it up to the next level and be like a big-time superstar, or he's going to be a 3-win pitcher like Steamer projects, and he's going to either get hurt later on down the line or regress as older pitchers tend to do, and the Phillies are going to be stuck with a bad contract. To me, there's not a lot of in-between with Zack Wheeler. Yeah, I mean, maybe he could just be like a 3.5-win pitcher for all 5 years of the contract. If that's the case, great. You paid market value for him, and you got all 5 years out of him. You didn't underpay, you didn't overpay. It was just right. But I don't think that's going to be the case with him, and there are a few reasons why I think that. Zack Wheeler is a pitcher that really kind of does everything well. He strikes out more than your average pitcher. He walks less than your average pitcher. He gives up fewer homers than your average pitcher. His stuff is better than your average pitcher. But there's always something that has kind of kept him from being a top-of-the-line pitcher. And it's kind of hard to see because, like I said, he just does everything well, so you really have to kind of dig into it to see why he's not unlocking that, Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer potential that everybody sees in him. I would encourage you guys to go and look at this article by Ben Clemens from Fangraphs, which does a really great job of explaining why it is or why it might be that Zack Wheeler hasn't really developed into that superstar pitcher. He's just been very, very good. And it talks about how Zack Wheeler can get ahead of the count as good as any pitcher in baseball. He gets to 0-1 and 0-2 counts as much as the elite pitchers in all of baseball. But for whatever reason, on 0-2 counts, he has terrible pitch selection, or at least below average pitch selection. While most pitchers would go to a slider or a curveball or a changeup or something to get the hitter off balance, maybe waste a pitch or something like that, Zack Wheeler tends to throw a fastball right down the middle way more often than he should. I'll link the article about that down in the description down below, but if you're a Phillies fan and you hear that, you should be extremely encouraged by this news, because if that's his only problem, or if that's the big problem that's keeping him from being a strikeout king, a guy with like 11 strikeouts per 9 and just killing it with like a sub-2 ERA and, just being the ace that you want him to be, that is an extremely easy thing to fix, especially if you are on an analytically driven organization like the Phillies are. The Phillies are buying into analytics more than almost any other team in baseball, and this is something that's kind of obvious once you dig into it, is he's just throwing too many fastballs right down the middle on 0-2 counts. It's just a very obvious thing, and that's very fixable. That's a very, very fixable problem if you're the Phillies. Just throw more curveballs, throw more sliders, find his best pitch, and throw that more often. It's really all there is to it. So if that really is his biggest problem, and you can dig into that and you can teach him to do other things on those counts, then he's going to be terrific. This is going to be a home run signing. But there are other factors to consider, like his injury history and like his age, because while you're trying to fix that, you're also going to be fighting against his declining stuff, against him getting older, his body getting a little more frail, a little more injury prone. And that's why generally I don't like 5-year deals to pitchers that are Zack Wheeler's age. He just turned 30, I believe. But that's not to say that this is a bad signing. It's not. I like this signing for the Phillies. They got a player at a position of need. They went out, they were aggressive, they did it. I'm just saying that it's risky. That if you're basically putting a lot of your eggs, your competitive eggs, into this one basket. If Zack Wheeler doesn't work out for you, that's almost it as far as the Phillies competing for a World Series in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years is concerned, because that's a lot of money and a lot of years to tie up into one pitcher. And it can be very, very scary as a fan to do that. But like I said, if this works out, you have Aaron Nola and you have Zack Wheeler, who has unlocked that potential that we've all seen in him. If you have that at the top of your rotation, you could be looking at a World Series as soon as next year, especially if you fill out the rest of your roster with effective players. I know that they've been linked to guys like Didi Gregorius. They already have several guys on that team who are very impressive. Their payroll is starting to get up there, so there's not a ton of room to operate. Well, they still have room to operate, but they are starting to max out on everything, and they're starting to really look like they're in all-in mode. But if this works out and you're able to build around the foundation that you already have, this could be the move that vaults them into the World Series. It really could be. But I think this is a sign to Phillies fans that they are going after it this year. I know that they were kind of going after it last year, but I still had some serious questions about that roster heading into last year. But if they're able to add, they still need an infielder. They may need an outfielder as well. I mean, right now they have Jay Bruce, Bryce Harper, Adam Hazley, Scott Kingery can play in the outfield a little bit. McCutchen, I guess, is going to be coming back. I'm not really 100% sure on that, what his status is. Not catcher. Sorry, the bullpen. They might need to add a little bit to that bullpen. They still have some holes that they need to address, and they're not a complete team right now. And if this is the only move that they make, then they're not going anywhere. But if they can add a guy like Didi Gregorius, if they can add a couple bullpen arms, if they can add maybe a good outfielder or something like that, this team starts to look really, really, really scary. And the NL East is starting to get horrifying. I wish the Braves were in the NL Central at this point, because the NL East is just too scary. I mean, you have the Mets going crazy, the Nationals going crazy, the Nationals winning a World Series, the Braves are doing things, the Phillies are doing things. It's going to be a bloodbath in 2019. Anyways, guys, that is going to do it for this video. If you liked it, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Follow me at Beanie Antics on Twitter. I love you guys. I hate the Phillies, but I gotta say, like I said, high risk, very, very high risk, but extremely high reward. And I think that analytically driven front office is going to be able to figure out how to get it done. So as much as it pains me to say it, good job, Phillies, on this signing. I like it. I like the Hamels signing more, but that might just be my bias talking. Guys, I just wanted to tag this on at the end of the video. Guys, if you follow me on Twitter, please leave a like on the video. Yes, I really appreciate that. I tweet out all of my videos that I put up on YouTube. I also tweet them out on Twitter. Please leave a like on them, but also retweet them. The retweets are what really, really helps. It spreads the word. It gets messages out to people that don't follow me, people that might be interested in this stuff. It really helps out. So if you guys would be so kind to leave a retweet on those videos, it would help me out tremendously. It really does help more than you guys know. But anyways, I love you guys, and I will see you guys later. But until then,
Still